Hello, you over 3,000 glorious people and the 83% that have yet to subscribe yet. Let's talk about Age of Sigmar 4th edition launch, and more specifically, what exactly and which day has it or has it yet to still launch on. So yes, I have seen a lot of frustration and some outright anger, but then, you know, it's Games Workshop, so you always do get that sort of anger towards them. But the general topic and consensus is that this has not been a great rollout for the game, for 4th edition Age of Sigmar. And the reason why is because of the sort of mixed information and sort of not greatness of the way that Games Workshop have done it. And let's sort of start from the beginning. And this has kind of been the build up to the pre-order for the box. We knew the box was coming. We got shown the box. We got everything out of the box. There was no big sort of Warhammer Fest type preview of the game, of the edition, because they decided not to do Warhammer Fest this year in the UK. And then we kind of had the usual sort of only interviews and only really focusing on elements of the game. And then when we come up to the run up to the pre-order, we started to get the usual articles. And the articles were good. They were pretty informative. The ones with the design team and how they go about designing the miniatures was really informative and really well done. But then we started getting the same articles again, but from basically a different department, but pretty much the same content. And then we got the pre-orders for Scaventide, and it was a 2-week pre-order window, which is good. 2 weeks pre-order to get it, really quite nice. Does it really need to be 2 weeks? Probably not, but it's good anyway that they did that. Now, initially, everyone thought the game launched on the 13th of July, which at the time of recording was yesterday, but that's not entirely correct, because in the middle of the pre-order window last week, we got pre-orders went up for the faction packs, the core rulebook to buy it separately, and the General's Handbook. Now, this isn't really where the anger has kind of gone from. I think a lot of people that have just bought the Scaventide box and has opened it up, thinking that they were going to get the entire General's Handbook in cards form, only to find out that it isn't the entire General's Handbook in cards form, and that the General Handbook is pretty much the same format and is now going to be sold separately, is a little bit of a kick in the teeth. I know that my local club and community are running a tournament today at the time of recording, and the reason why they did it today was because we expected to have things like the General's Handbook and the faction packs and everything else. Now, yes, you can download them. Yes, you can print them out. Yes, you can laminate them, which I have literally just bought myself a new laminator and 100 sheets to laminate all of the cards that I need. But that's beside the point. The game technically isn't fully out yet. If you didn't want the Scaventide box, you have to rely on the downloads. You haven't been able to buy what you want. You can't get the General's Handbook, which if you're a TO, a tournament organizer and a competitive player who only really plays competitively, you can't do any of that yet because you don't have the General's Handbook. Now, I played a game yesterday and I didn't take any of the spells, any of the manifestations for my one wizard because I didn't know what they did. And the reason why is because that information is in the General's Handbook. So I played a game yesterday with the full rules and the faction packs and everything else, but I couldn't use any manifestations because nobody had manifestation rules because they're in a book that's currently on pre-order and they weren't in the Scaventide box. So straight away, we're having to wait until next week, the 21st, I believe is the day. Yeah, basically Saturday, the 20th, to finally get this information and finally get everything to be able to play the game properly. And this is where the anger is sort of building up from, because the game hasn't really come out properly, and it's kind of the mixed information from Games Workshop that done this. Now, when I pre-ordered my book, I went through my local store. I had to go onto the Warhammer website when we kind of realized about Thursday, building up to our game, that we weren't going to have a General's Handbook this weekend. And I looked at it, and it's very small print. In fact, do you know what? I'll flip it over. Okay, so here is the General's Handbook. Here it is on pre-order. And as you notice, just underneath this really small writing, you have a very small date saying the 20th. Now, we had to go hunting for that because we were definitely under the impression that it was only going to be a 1-week pre-order window and they were going to drop this weekend. Why this is a 2-week pre-order window is beyond me. I don't understand why. It's a little bit silly to have the launch box and then all of... Because technically the 20th is the launch of the game, because that's when the game is fully out properly. But yeah, this kind of sort of rubbed people up the wrong way. And obviously, you know, you've got your kind of stuff in there, and you know, your full rules. Because like if you and the General's Handbook is kind of needed. Like really, if you're playing competitively or if you're playing match play style games all the time, the General Handbook is a must buy. Because it has the core rules, which is handy to have, and then it has everything else like the match play seasonal stuff, all of the battle plans and everything else, as well as all of the manifestations and everything else like that. So it's kind of a must buy, and it doesn't come in the Skaven Tide box, which we will have a look at. We will have a look at the Skaven Tide box now. So let's have a little look at the Skaven Tide box. So got all of the spearhead stuff, not even the Skaven Tide box is there. So let's have a look, new releases. So the Skaven Tide box, let's have a look what it says in the description of what you get. So let's have a look-see for what you get. So Skaven Tide box says that you get a hardback book, which you do. I had a look at it yesterday. It's really good. You get the hardback book, Fire and Jade, which is quite nice. You get the double-sided board game, again, which is pretty cool. You get the plastic push-fit miniatures, 24 Stormcast, Skaven, and you get plastic push-fit terrain, and then you get this. This is right here what has caused a lot of people to get angry. 17 times General's Handbook cards. This card deck is the quick reference during match play games of Warhammer Age of Sigmar, including 2024-2025 season rule cards, battle tactics, battle plans, and a scorecard. But it's not. So you don't have any of the endless spells or any of the manifestation rules in there, which is kind of what you need. I mean, it has everything but them, which is kind of a bit of a problem if you particularly bought that box to get everything that you need, thinking you get everything you need when you kind of don't. So this has kind of caused a little bit of a drama on the range. And personally, I agree with it on this. I do think that the kind of rollout for 4th edition hasn't been great. I don't understand why the General's Handbook wasn't available this weekend. It would have made perfect sense that it was. The game itself is really good. The new miniatures are really, really good. I've finally got hold of a set of Stormcast Eternals, so I'm going to be doing some painting stuff on them, and I'm really chuffed. Really excited about getting my hands on them. But yeah, it's just, for me, it just feels a little bit annoying that certain information that certain players need, like myself and competitive players, like all my friends are playing in a tournament today, and none of them have the full General's Handbook. Now, they have the vast majority because a lot of it has been thankfully leaked. But, you know, that's bad. You shouldn't be relying on your customers, relying on leaks from your influencers. Because let's be fair, they're the ones that definitely are leaking this stuff. Hellstorm Wargaming. So they're, you know, a lot of it was leaked and stuff, and that's what they're relying on. They've got printouts and photos and stuff like that, but that's, you don't want to play the game with shoddy potato can photos. You want to be able to play the game with the actual proper clear rules. And yeah, so personally, if for me, the fact that the app doesn't even come up tomorrow either, so the app wasn't even available on Saturday, it's not available until tomorrow, Monday the 15th. The main rule book to order separately, which, you know, I've got room. Look, I've sorted my shelves out behind. It's okay. Black Mountain Wargaming. I'm slowly sorting my shelves out, and I've got an area just up here for all my new 4th edition stuff to get put into. I'm going to try to get some pink LED lights behind there to make it look cool, especially behind my cabinet as well. You know, that rule book would look really good there. The General's Handbook would look really good there. But yeah, I can't get that until next week. It's really annoying. It's really frustrating. I didn't buy the book, so I think what they should have done personally is they should have had the the Scaventide box up on pre-order. They should have had the Scaventide box up on pre-order 2 weeks ago, and launched yesterday. And on that day of launch, they should have also had the rulebook, the General's Handbook, and the faction pack cards as well. So you should have had a one-shop stop pre-order for everything for that 2 weeks. Everything. Should have had it all done. This weekend, we could have had a little bit of Black Library novels that were coming out, the faction dice and stuff like that. Things that people don't necessarily need, but they can always get later on. And then next week, you know, we could have easily had, if they really wanted to, they could have easily put out the Stormcast Eternals and Skaven Spearhead boxes, basically splitting the 2 boxes in half, rather than wait 3 or 4 months down the line when the actual battle tomes actually start coming out. Those boxes should be going on pre-order very, very soon, because then people can play Spearhead. So the ones that didn't necessarily buy the big box are then able to go, actually, you know what? I want the Stormcast, but I don't want the Skaven. I've got the rule book, I've got my General's Handbook, I've got my faction packs. I'll buy those new Stormcast Eternals and I'll get them and I'm good to go. And I can play Spearhead, or I can slowly start building my army for Stormcast Eternals for 4th edition. Do you know, a little bit of foresight like that would have probably gone a long way, but rather they didn't. They put out the box, and then a week later they put out pre-orders for the other essential things that we need. And I don't think this takes away from the sales of the big box, because if you want that big box and you want the really cool rulebook and you want the cards and you want the fight, and the only way it seems to be able to get the Jadefire book is in that box, is, you know, people would have got it anyway, because people like buying these big launch boxes. But they didn't have any other options for the non-big box buyers, which is kind of sad, and a little bit of crappy. No, I'm not going to come out with the Discourse miniatures and saying it's bad practices, because it's not. I think it's just an oversight. I think it's just bad planning. I think it's just not looking at your customer base correctly, and I think it's just not reading the room. Not everybody wants to buy the big box, so cater to the ones that don't as well. Don't make them wait, because, you know, the internet has pirates on it, and they will go out and get it wherever they need it. Putting out the free downloads was also quite good, but making us wait a week into pre-orders to eventually get those faction packs, stupid move. The rules on the day of pre-order, the Monday morning after pre-orders open for Scaventide, they should have had the core rulebook and the Stormcast Eternals and the Skaven faction packs good to go, and then the Tuesday through to the Friday roll out the rest of the factions, just like they did, but a week early. And then the week after, they could have literally had community games and people playing the games, and they could have even said, look, send in your photos to this hashtag on social media and we'll show you what, like, and they could have easily had games at Warhammer World being played, taking pictures, speaking to customers while they're in the pre-order window, getting hyped for the new edition, and do articles on that. Do what the community team is supposed to do and actually speak to the community. That would have been amazing. But instead, we didn't. We got the rehashed how to paint a Skaven from the design studio, and then how to paint a Skaven from the terrain building studio in Warhammer World. And this shop in England also painted them, and we're going to show photos. Like, seriously, stop showing us the same miniatures painted over and over and over again. Engage with your community, engage with your customer base, and that's worked. Now, putting out the roadmap was, you know, a thumbs up to them. Well done. They listened, they did that. But the rest of it was crack. And it has been a bit of a ball ache, but it's out almost. You know, hopefully everyone will get what they need and get what they want by next week. faction cards, you know, you can pick them up. I'm making my own. I paid £27 for a laminator and a 100-odd wallet, so I've got more than enough wallets to do as many faction packs that I need, and, you know, I'm going to enjoy using my laminator because, you know, that's how you roll now. And yeah, it's just a better way of doing it. And then hopefully I'll get my General's Handbook next week, and I'll actually start being able to delve into 4th edition in a big way. But yeah, there'll be a lot more 4th edition Age of Sigmar content coming. I've got a lot more painting stuff planned. I was looking at a colour scheme today for a really vibrant sort of Saurus, Seraphon type thing, which I'm going to probably do. In fact, you can just see the unpainted models just down here on that shelf there, just below me, just above this shoulder, just there. So I'm going to be painting them up. I'm going to do a painting video of them once I finish painting them up, my Seraphon army. And they're going to be really vibrant colours. And I'm just going to show you that the technique that I started off with, the Agrodon, you can do again, you know, in a slightly different way. So it's going to be kind of cool. I've obviously got the 40k video, Howling Griffin video to come, and then I've got a video that I've got a Leagues of Votann miniature that I want to do for a painting tutorial as well. I'm really looking forward to getting that one, and any other painting tutorials, let me know below and I'll get them. And I'm just going to start picking up some miniatures now and really just getting out some really cool stuff on the members area and on the channel as well, and really start expanding that now that the channel is getting bigger. So speaking of the channel getting bigger, if you're liking what I'm doing, smash that subscribe button. If you are a part of that 83% that is watching my content but not subscribing, it doesn't cost you anything. Just hit that button and it makes me very, very happy. And obviously, please like the video, comment if you agree, comment even if you disagree. I like having an engagement in the comment section. And obviously, like the video, share it, ring the bell so you don't miss out, and all of that good stuff. And I will see you in the next video. Goodbye for now.